Hello, this is Anna Laura Brown, host of the Autoimmune Rehab podcast, where as always you can find all episodes and download and check out show notes at autoimmunerehab.com. Today's episode is sponsored by my meetup group that you can find at meetup.com, self-care and healing, autoimmune healing for women. And in this group, most of my events are virtual. So even though the event is tagged as Salt Lake City, Utah, you can join and attend pretty much every meeting. I actually haven't done any in-person meetings yet, but those may be coming, but I will stick with a lot of virtual meetings as well. Okay, and without further ado, let's get starting about today's topic, 5 books that you must read after getting diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Now, obviously, I entitled this 5 books that you really should read. There really are a lot more than 5 books you should read. Personally, I've probably read maybe close to 500 books on different aspects of autoimmune disease. You don't have to read that anywhere near that many. One of the reasons I've read so many is because I'm a health coach, and so I feel like I need to be well read in the field to be able to help and assist people, and also because, I do this podcast. However, I do recommend that there are a couple of categories of books that you should read. One category is you should look into some different kinds of books about energy healing and healing yourself, your self-esteem, your self-worth, all those kinds of things. You should look into some different recipe books and books about different kinds of diets and eating plans and different ways of eating. Then you also want to check out some books on your specific autoimmune condition. So personally, for me, I've read quite a few books on thyroid and Hashimoto's because that is a specific condition I have. And then I also recommend some good books on gut healing and then some general overall books on healing from autoimmune conditions. So the first book on this list that I'm going to recommend, and if you were listening to this podcast, you won't be able to see it, but if you're watching this via video on my YouTube channel, which for those of you listening to the audio will be aware that the video versions are on my YouTube channel, I am going to show you what the covers and things of some of these books look like. And the first one is more of a general wellness book on how to basically, he says you can cure effectively almost any disease, and it's not specific to autoimmune, but I feel like there's a lot of really good words of wisdom in here that can be applied to help everybody improve their overall health and well-being. And it's the book called How to Make Disease Disappear by Dr. Regan Chatterjee. And this is the, I'm going to try to get the cover up here. Okay. Let me pull this back. This particular one I only own on Kindle. How to Make Disease Disappear by Dr. Regan Chatterjee. You can see that there, and I've done separate reviews and talked about it before, but this is has different images of different leaves on the cover on a white background. And this book is an overall strategy book, literally on how to heal yourself from pretty much any disease. And I have found that by living by a lot of what is in this book, this is ultimately what has helped put my Hashimoto's more or less into remission. Lab-wise, you could kind of dispute that, but as far as how I feel like that's really good. And I don't stick to a T 100% with everything in the book, and maybe probably should try to do that more. But, that can always be a little bit challenging. Okay, so now let's talk about the second one. And this is a really good book that I feel like everybody, no matter what autoimmune condition you have, should read. And even if you're not sure if you have an autoimmune condition, or if maybe you feel like you just have some different gut problems, that kind of thing, this is a really good book that pretty much everyone should read. And this book is called Eat Dirt by Dr. Josh Axe. And Dr. Axe has a lot of really great recipes, really great things. He sells some supplements and things that are fairly high quality, just depending on what you're looking for. I have tried a lot of them. Currently, I'm not taking any of those because I've chosen some different things, which if you want to find out what I'm taking, you can reach out and we can have that conversation. But anyhow, this is the front of the cover of the book for those of you watching on YouTube. Dr. Josh Axe, Eat Dirt, and it's got a picture of a bunch of carrots taken directly out of the ground, so they're all dirty. Why leaky gut may be the root cause of your health problems, and 5 surprising steps to cure it. And this is another really, really good book, because the reality is that if you have an autoimmune condition, you have leaky gut. So you need to research some different books on gut healing and leaky gut. And he talks about a lot of different ways to do that. His background, Dr. Axe's background is as a chiropractor and naturopathic doctor. He currently actually doesn't see patients anymore, though. He's focused on like he has a podcast and he's focused on a blog and website and publishes books and like I said has a supplement store, things like that, and that's his sole focus. But he, yeah, just has a lot of really good things there. Then third book that I have talked about before and recommended is this book, The Loving Diet: Going Beyond Paleo into the Heart of What Ails You by Jessica Flanagan. And this book really emphasizes the importance of loving your body and yourself, because if you don't love your body and yourself, then you're not going to be able to successfully cure your autoimmune disease and help yourself to truly heal. And for those of you that can't see the cover, it's kind of a blue, light bluish background with red letters. Loving is written in red letters. The diet is in black. And then the O for in the word loving is replaced with half of an open strawberry with a heart. So I really like this book. It does also have some good recipes that are paleo for those of you wanting to try or follow that lifestyle. And she just says a lot of different things about how to love yourself, how to have good self-esteem, and because that can really be part of the problem that a lot of us have with autoimmunity. And so it's really something that needs to be addressed. Then the next two books, I want to add a caveat to this, might seem a little bit out there, if you will, for some of you. And I know they're still a little bit out there for me too. I'm still learning in this field, but they are books that are related to more or less the energy healing arena and books that can really help you heal yourself in a little bit of a different aspect. I personally do not subscribe to the idea that energy healing in and of itself is going to fix an autoimmune condition. I know some people would probably dispute that with me, but I just don't believe that. But I do believe that these books can be helpful at getting to the root cause and helping you to figure out, do you have hidden emotions, different things like that that can help you heal. And this first one is called The Healing Questions Guide: Relevant Questions to Ask the Mind to Activate Healing in the Body by Wendy Jensen. And the front cover basically is a picture of her, and the background has like the stars and the universe and that kind of thing on it. And examples of a couple of questions to give you an idea of this is you can look up under different health conditions, and she'll give you questions for you to ask yourself to try to figure out, what you need to do to help heal. Is under knee problems, it says the following: what will it take for me to let go of what I thought was true and consider new possibilities? What is the best way to detach from my social and family connections, positions, and perceptions that are no longer serving my highest and greatest good? What will it take to allow myself to think differently than my family and culture and still love and accept them? What am I being asked to bend to do, but I have chosen to be rigid out of fear of pride? What will it take to bend to the universal law that it will allow my progress? What will it take to allow more flexibility and spontaneity into my life? What will it take to increase my ability to forgive so quickly I can move on with my life? And you get the idea. And my experience has been that a lot of times these are just suggestions, and you don't necessarily need to be able to answer all of these questions or feel like these are all relevant. So I would have to say, for me personally, probably number one and number 5 and 6 were probably more relevant. 2, 3, and 4 about how to detach from family and social, but positions, perhaps just that kind of thing. I don't feel like that's relevant to me because I feel like I really am in agreement with a lot of my family and what they believe and my friends and things like that, and that even a lot of my social circle. And so I haven't really felt like that was really relevant. But I did feel like, sometimes I'm not as flexible, don't allow as much for spontaneity, and definitely could benefit from some ways to forgive more freely. So anyhow, these are just, like I said, suggestions, ideas. Most of the time, these are just food for thought, things for you to think about. And there may even only be one question or so under each thing that may be relevant to you. So you just have to kind of, yourself. Then the next one, and this is the newest book that I just got and read, is the book Unlocking Your Body's Ability to Heal Itself: The Body Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he's the best-selling author of The Emotion Code. So he was a chiropractor who's now retired, who mastered the art of muscle testing and of a lot of energy healing, and his work is the foundation of what a lot of energy healing practitioners have embraced to help with healing. And it's just gives you different steps of how to muscle test yourself to determine what kinds of energies and supplements and different kinds of things maybe going on in the body that may be affecting you. So anyhow, that book can be really helpful as well. And then if I could offer a sixth bonus book, it would be to read the book Integrative Nutrition by Joshua Rosenthal, which is the book that helped launch the foundation of my health coaching career when I went to the School of Institute of Integrative Nutrition online. So anyhow, I hope that you found some of these recommendations helpful. Like I said, I will list the titles and links to them on Amazon in the show notes so that you will be able to find them easily. And take care. Thanks for listening. And as always, I would love to hear from you if you have any recommendations or suggestions. Take care and have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to sharing with you soon on another episode of the Autoimmune Rehab Podcast.